Hey, this is shawnshawn. I want to give you a tip of the day about politics. Generally, what I would say about politics and taking a position, especially on your fan page, on your personal page, you can kind of be a little more political. I think that's fine. But on your fan page, which is focused on your business, unless you're doing per se political art, like I do some political art, so maybe it makes sense for me to kind of explain a painting, like I believe this, that's why I painted that, etc. But if you're doing like non-political art, like you're doing landscapes, you're doing portraits, and you're really not focused in on politics in your art, it probably doesn't make sense to really call out one extreme view or another and be like, oh, I hate this person, I love that person. Um, Probably what I would recommend is maybe have a Twitter account that's a non-art, under a different name, and then you can maybe call out your politics and kind of make that difference, or do political campaigning on the side as separate from your business. But to combine it with your art business gets you're going to polarize your art clientele, because art clientele will be from both sides. A lot of rich people are more conservative, so it's going to even out. Like maybe you're on the coast, like New York, San Francisco, Miami. It's way more liberal, obviously. But once you get in the middle of the country and you get up to the higher ranks, you're going to be kind of an even base. So you're really kind of isolating your work from those. And if it's non-political work, it's not going to make sense to make huge political statements. Of course, there's political movements that come and go, like BLM, or say something against like the 9/11, supporting the firefighters and police. I mean, some statements you want to make, maybe you align yourself with that, but I wouldn't get too deep as far as aligning your art specifically with one political movement or another. I mean, open the discussion, obviously. I think that's fine. And that's a worthy thing, freedom of speech, drive a conversation. But if you really go down that route, you're really going to cut yourself off from customers. So I would be a little bit wary on that. Maybe have a separate Twitter account. Again, campaign on the side, but don't associate it per se with your art. If your art is politically associated, like for example, Shepard Fairey, he's deliberately doing kind of a liberal stance, graffiti look, and so it makes sense for him to make political stance all the time with his artwork, because that's his focus, right? And he's only focused on that style of art. But if you're doing like, say, this is all abstract. I mean, how connected is this to politics, or landscape? How connected is that to politics? So I would, kind of, obviously stick to your beliefs and have discussions with people. But I would, as far as your art, probably distance it a little bit from that, and at least come back from a neutral standpoint of being open to multiple viewpoints. I think that's smarter. Um, but again, if you have a political belief you can't stand, of course you're going to say something about it. There's nothing wrong with that, I think. But be aware, if you kind of go off to either extreme on either side of any party, you're going to get a lot of drop off in your client base. So that's my tip of the day. Thanks for watching, guys.